Hey, Remax One. So this is a video I'm bringing to everyone in hopes that people will sit down and actually do a business plan for 2021. It involves tracking some of your data from last year. It involves you figuring out what your why is and what you really want to do um, as far as what you want to produce this year. And I'm going to walk you through how to do this in the most simplest and efficient way possible to start your 2021. I'm also going to send some other videos um, periodically throughout the next few months that will help keep yourself on target and reinforce using some of the products that we provide our agents so they can grow a profitable business. So this is really about being profitable, being intentional and proactive. And it really all starts with your why and your plan. You know, why are you in this business? Why are you doing this? Is it certain aspirations, life aspirations that you have? Some of those aspirations might be, providing for your family or having a roof over your head or having a retirement. And then they can expand beyond those. They can be putting more money in the bank or buying another house or maybe a vacation home. But you really have to have a definitive why that gets that fire in your belly and those motivational, engines turning, so that way you can get up every day and do those intentional and proactive activities that are required for you to have success. Typically, a real estate agent will have success and they will hit their peaks and valleys because they really don't have a plan. They're not focused on what their plan is. And that's the biggest problem in the industry, is because real estate agents really don't focus on being an entrepreneur. They basically, kind of go how the wind takes them. In the back of their mind, they always have an idea of how many transactions they have to close. That's why they really don't go bankrupt. However, they really don't put together a well thought, informative plan that they follow. So what ends up happening is, if they only need to make, let's say, enough money where 20 transactions is enough money for them to live, then usually they're going to end up anywhere between 16 and 22 transactions. And that's just the way that they're going to, things start to get a little tough. They start putting the foot on the gas more. They start getting out more, doing more activities. And they start gaining some momentum. And what do? They start getting complacent. They start taking the foot off the gas. So they're not having well-defined goals in advance. And that's what this exercise is. It's to put together a business plan and some goals, so that way you can have a successful, profitable, and long-term career. That's really what we're about here at Remax One. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this screen and go over, this is a product as part of Full Leverage Agent. So if you already signed up for Full Leverage Agent, log into your account and go to Business Plan, and you will be able to start doing you can watch the video. Matt Van Winkle is the host and the presenter, and he will walk you through what to do. I'm also going to walk you through right here, and you can download that and start working on your business plan. I know my team is doing this already. They're going to be starting to do this next week. So I really hope all of our agents take this and start their plan. So bear with me while I share our screen. Okay, so in Full Leverage Agent, what you want to do is find the Profitability Blueprint. And the first thing you're going to look at is, it's going to ask you what your profitability benchmark is. So you really need to figure out what your why is. Why do you want to make X amount of dollars a year? Okay. Do you want to add a staff member to help give yourself more time? You have to know how much you're going to pay that person. So that adds into how much money you need to make that year. What do you need to make to cover your personal expenses? Which is why we suggest everybody have a personal expense tracker in the beginning of doing this exercise. The first thing you want to do is outline all of your personal expenses, and then you want to outline your business expenses. But don't be fooled. Your personal expenses 100% relate to what you have to do in your real estate business and what you spend on your real estate business expenses. I remember in years past, agents would say, this is getting too expensive. I need to make more money. I'm going to cut my business expenses. And that never made sense to me. Why would you cut business expenses? How much can you cut from your personal expense and fund more in your business expense? Because the investment in your business is going to or should increase your profitability. So figure out what it is unacceptable for you to make less than. For example, if I know my personal expenses total $70,000 a year, then I may say it's unacceptable for me to make less than $100,000 because I want an additional $30,000 for savings and or maybe a purchase that I'm going to make. So in this, I would put $100,000. And then in here, I'm going to put, because I want to provide for my family, increase my savings, and take a nice vacation. Now, I'm doing this for illustration purposes only, but this should be something that you really believe in, and you should put it there. Next, go to page 2. You want to start putting in what your blueprint for business success is. My best life. Why do I work in real estate? There's careers you could take. So many different paths you could take. Why are you in real estate? I think real estate's a catch-all industry. It takes a lot. It looks like it's, from the outside looking in, it looks like an easy industry to get into. Oh, I meet somebody. I know somebody that wants to buy a house. So I'm going to go show them houses, because really, what's the skill required? Open up a lockbox, walk through a house. But there's a lot more to it, as you know. And the challenge isn't whether you can find 1 or 2 people to buy houses or sell houses. The challenge is, can I find enough people consistently, month in and month out, to buy or sell enough properties that are successful in order for me to live a good life? And that is the $1 million question, and that's what's very difficult. So, my best life, why do I work in real estate? And you put your answer in there. That could be, anything. I love helping people and being in control of my profitability. Okay? My economic plan. What do I need to earn each year to achieve my best life? Okay? So you want to figure out what your profitability benchmark is and your transaction benchmark. So we'll get to that. And then you have my operational plan. And this is a business plan, everyone. You're figuring out how much you need to make and how many deals you need to make that. So now you know how many deals you need to make. You got to figure out how you're going to do that. What is the plan? What are the activities you're going to do in order for you to make that? And that's being consistent. How many of these activities am I going to do that I know are going to hit this transaction benchmark? And then you want to figure out who's doing those. And that's really where it comes down to leverage. A lot of agents in most real estate environments, while they think they want to leverage, they're very resistant to delegation, and they're capped on their capabilities. They always put their own ceiling above them because they don't know how to delegate properly, because they fear by delegating it means that A, they're not actually working, or B, they're not in control. And I would argue that you can actually be in more control by having other people doing your work if you're managing it properly. So that's a whole nother class. So the other thing you want to do is scroll down to your budgeted expenses. Now, these are examples, and this is 2019-20. So just, for illustration purposes, and they didn't update this form yet, just replace 2019 with 2020 and 2020 with 2021. So go back into your 2020 year and figure out what your income was and what all of these expenses were. Okay. This is an example. I'm going to reference this example at the 75K mark. Okay. Because that's the closest one to 100. And they give you budgeted expenses. And this is Matt Van Winkle runs a Remax out in the Pacific Northwest. And you can see the annual amount provided to that Remax on average is $22,500 from an agent. So that's pretty much kind of typical in the Remax environments. But you want to analyze all of your expenses going across the board. Okay, copies, office supplies, everything that you're doing in your business or that could qualify as a business expense should put in here. So if you think about it, you want to subtotal your expenses, and then you're going to figure out what your net profit was. Okay, so in this one, they had a $75,000 GCI, gross commission income. And when all the expenses were said and done, they ended up having $32,000 net profit, federal income tax allowance of $39,228, and now all of a sudden the net profit was $28,807. So not a lot of money to live off of there. But if you take a look at some of these expenses, and you take a look at what some of these expenses, you're not really seeing mortgage and other areas that you're seeing some vehicles and things like that you can offset. So it's extremely important to run this, but first run your personal expenses, okay? Because that's going to help you identify what you need to make. Once you do that, we're going to dive into your economic plan. So for argument's sake, let's say that my desired profit is $100,000. And let's say my budgeted expenses after I did everything, we can reference this. Let's say it was $40,000. My average commission from last year was 2.5%. And my average sale price was $300,000. Okay, so we're going to go to the next page and do your transaction benchmark calculation. You want to make $100,000. You have budgeted expenses of $40,000. Remember, this includes whatever percentage you're giving to the company or paying as a fee. So all of your brokerage expenses, for example, if you're in a 70-30 split and you think you're going to pay in 20, let's say you cap at 20,000 or whatever, then you would put in that expense line of 20,000 to the brokerage. You figure out what you're going to pay the brokerage. Obviously, there's some percentage that might be consistently ongoing, so you just project it out what you think you're going to earn, and that's the expense you put on that line item. And then you figure out what your revenue needed is. Well, if I want to profit 100,000 and my budgeted expenses are 40, then my total revenue needed is 140,000. So you want to put that here, and then you want to divide that by your commission, which would be 0.025 if it's a 2.5%. And that it gets you your closed volume, which would be $5,600,000. So you want to then carry that over to your closed volume needed, divide that by your average sale price, and you're looking at just about 19 transactions. So your transaction benchmark is 19. Now you want to go back into your previous year's sales because you want to track your data, and this is why it's so important to track all of your data and all of your results. And you want to compare of all the listings you sold. So let's say in this you sold 7 listings, and let's say you sold 8 buyers. Okay, that's 15 total. So from the 7 and 8, let's say you sold 15 that were from your sphere only. You only got them from your sphere. So no other sources did you get business outside of those two areas. You didn't focus on anything else. So you have 19, and then you had 7 listings sold, and then you had 8 buyers closed. Okay. I'm sorry, there was an error there. So what you want to figure out is, how many more transactions do you need? Well, you have 15, and then you have 19 as your benchmark. So 19 minus 15 is what? 4. So you need 4 more transactions. So where are you going to find those 4 more transactions? Well, if you and I were doing a coaching consult, I would dive into how you're getting their business from your sphere. Many of you, after talking to you over and over, I realize that you're not maximizing the return from your sphere. You're either not marketing to them enough or efficiently enough, or you're not increasing the network. You're not adding new people to that network. You know, you still have 50 people you send things to. Your 50 people is all that you're going to have from that marketing base. So if you were marketing to that sphere at a very high level, your average return is going to be 20% of the network. So if you have a sphere of 50 people and you're hitting them 24 to 30 times or more a year in various marketing efforts that are consistent, you should get a 20% return. So the reason we do all these metrics and we have all this training is so you can calculate this and pinpoint where your results are going to be. So let's take the 50-person sphere. If somebody is hitting that and they're not doing a great job, let's say they got 14 people from, let's say they got 14 or 15 people from their sphere, and let's say that sphere was 100, okay? 100 people in their sphere. Well, you're probably supposed to get 20% of the 100. So you should be getting 20 transactions closed from your sphere. And this person only got 15. So I would sit there and analyze, well, how many reach outs are you doing to your sphere? Are you adding a client appreciation party in there? Are you calling them? Are you doing pop buys? Are they getting 2 various types of reach outs, one physically in mail, one email every month? Are you engaging on social media? Are they getting personal note cards? If you're not doing all those things, then you're leaving money on the table because you're not maximizing the marketing of your sphere. So in that case, somebody getting 15 transactions divided by 100 is getting a 15% return. So I would argue and say you have to bump up the marketing on your sphere, increase it, and you should be able to cover that 4 transactional difference. Now, so we'll make it even depending on what the what your percentages are. Maybe you have more buyers or sellers, but again, this is projection now. So I'm going to gain those 4 I need, the additional transactions needed for me to hit my business plan, to hit my goal. I'm going to gain those because my sphere was not being maximized in the marketing. Then what I always like to do is add another 3 to 5 transactions a year on top of my goal. Like, that's just what I put in there, because if I can really target it and hit it, now I'm above what I wanted to make. Okay, so the next best area to go is open houses. It's your highest rate of return. It's interesting because real estate agents, for the most part, don't like to consistently host open houses. However, if you put an open house plan to host 3 open houses a month, your average per open house is 5 people coming through an open house. That's 15 unique visitors every month. Think about that. You have 15 unique visitors annually. That's almost 200 unique people. Now, it turns out to be 180, and let's say you're able to capture 20% of those people that you can put into your network marketing system. That would be 36 people. Okay? If you can close Agents that are not even that skilled at conversion should be able to close 10% of those. That's 3 to 4 closings. So 3 to 4 additional closings, okay, just from open houses. That's from doing a consistent, proactive, intentional open house plan that you do every month, 3 open houses a month, every month of the year. You don't sit there and say, well, I'm going to take the summer off. No, you do 3 a month, every month. Now, if you can't do a Sunday, then you put one on a Saturday. And your goal is to market it enough to get 5 people or more through that open house. Then you have all these other areas, whether you do a geographic farm, whether you send out just sold or just listed direct mail pieces, social media paid ads, online leads. So I would say just from being in Remax or having a website or social media, you'll probably grab another one from each of these if you pay attention, if you get involved in those technological sites, and if you're really fast on converting, if you have the speed to the lead. Lead comes in, you don't snooze, less than 40 seconds, 45 seconds, you're responding, you will close a few more transactions. So all in all, I have a plan right here where I feel I can capture another 10 transactions. Now, what were my transactions? Well, my average sale price is 300,000. My average commission is 2.5. It's 7,500 hours. And if I do this plan, I added another $75,000 worth of revenue. Okay, so that would be my big ambitious goal that I put in here. But as we go back up into our profitability blueprint on page 2, my profitability benchmark is going to be $100,000, and my transaction benchmark is going to be 19. And I just created my operational plan for that. And then I can dive in to say who's going to do what. And I could put next to these numbers, I can range it up to 175 for my maximum, as I showed you, as I added some other committed lead generation activities, and you got to commit to those. And my transaction benchmark would have jumped up to 29. You're only going to be able to reach these goals if you set the goals, if you have a really definitive why, and if you do the activities consistently, intentional, so that, and you increase your performance standards so that you constantly are getting better at what you're doing and more organized. I hope, let me just get back into our screen here. I hope everybody finds this useful. If you are not signed up with Full Leverage Agent, I would suggest you to sign up with it. It's a platform that takes you through from A to Z of running a real estate business. It gives you short videos that will walk you through doing something like this. It'll talk about how you set up an LLC, and I'll be giving you guys some quick hit videos to get you motivated. Hopefully some of you follow through with these things. And as always, I would love to hear how you're making out. You can always schedule a one-on-one consultation with me to review any of the products that we have to get on track with whatever you're looking to do. Or even if you want to just set up that 1-hour consult where you're talking about what you did, all of your successes, and asking me what my opinion is. I have agents schedule consultations with me to talk about growing their business, hiring an admin, how to pay an admin, how to build their team, how to pay their team members or create compensation plans. These are brainstorming consultations. It's not my way or the highway. It's just an exercise so that way you can start getting fresh ideas and thinking of what you can do to build a more profitable business. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope everybody has a great 2021 and a great January.